Now, we all heard the same stories a million times about how Alpo was selling bricks, riding bikes, popping willies, rocking custom-made designer, MCM this, Louis V that, riding with AZ, killing Rich Porter, heading to DC and snitching on Wayne Perry. But let's rewind it. Let's take it back to his stick-up days. Yes, Alpo was a stick-up kid. See, every gangster has a mentor. We have John Gotti. He had Neil De La Croce. Frank Lucas, he had Bumpy Johnson. Well, Alpo had Randy Love from Wilson Projects. Now, all that gangster stuff Alpo was doing, he got it from Randy Love. See, in every situation, Alpo put himself first by any means, whether if he has to snitch on someone or even kill his best friends. At the end of the day, come out on top. He used everyone around him, and when he was done with you, he just tossed them in a recycling bin. Randy Love taught him the ins and outs of being a stick-up kid. Being a stick-up kid, you put yourself in a situation where guns could be fired. That's something that's not for the weak. Randy Love would take Alpo out with him to stick up some Dominicans. Alpo would first set up a deal, go cop from them a couple of times. As he visited, he would scan the room, pay attention to repetitive patterns, routines, where the guns were, and what room they were bringing the stuff out of. But most of the time, they would have the weight already sitting on the scale. Alpo looked young and black, so the Dominicans would openly speak Spanish to each other, not knowing that Alpo spoke Spanish. Before returning, they would watch the spot for hours. He would return to stick the joint up. Alpo said they would receive 10 to 15 grand and half a key. This was during the crack era, so it was a lot of money in the streets. Guys were getting rich overnight. The best example I could use is when everybody was getting those PUA and PPP loans. You saw everyone taking trips and rocking designer. In New York in the 80s, you saw all types of foreign cars coming down the avenue, like a car show. You had guys rocking gold chains and four-finger rings. See, all of that brought out the wolves. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. Everybody couldn't get drugs, but one thing they could get is a gun, easily. That's all they had. With that being said, you didn't have to work for anyone but yourself. It was a waste of time robbing your local convenience store for that little bit of money. Drug dealers had more money in their pockets than the whole store. Plus, that's somewhere your family shop every day, so that wouldn't be smart. You had grown men getting robbed by teenagers for thousands of dollars. Stick-up kids knew cops didn't care about drug dealers getting robbed. Randy Love terrified a lot of guys in New York, and that fear didn't come from just stick-ups. He would lay down a murder game, and he would take Alpo on his first murder. Young Alpo would be in his teens, touching more money than most adults at the time. Randy Love just couldn't stay out of jail. He would be behind bars, but he would still have his ears to the streets. Shit, he would even still have guys paying tax, because he would have guys collecting for him on the streets. With Alpo being under that respect would rub off on the Alpo. He had a couple of stick-up kids under him, and they respected him also. He actually had them in line, as they looked up to him as an OG. It got to a point where he started selling drugs. He'll let the stick-up kids know, that's my spot, so don't F with that. And even with all of that going on, he still was going to school. He was driving to school in his first BMW when a fiend that smoked at least 10K at one of his spots gave Alpo the keys to pay off a drug debt. Randy Love protected Alpo on the streets. It was rumored that Love once made preachers stand down after coming for Alpo. It could or could not be true, but if you have preacher respect, you put in some serious work. Randy Love did not like being flashy. He felt it puts a target on your back. He always preached that to Alpo, but Alpo was Alpo. He was sporting fat gold chains you could spot from a block away, and Love would tell him he's moving like the same guys that they robbed. Most likely, how he got the attention of Preacher. And no, Alpo was not scared of Preacher, he just didn't have the time. If he really wanted something to be done to Preacher, it would have happened. My thing is, if he really loved Rich Porter, why didn't he get revenge on Preacher for doing that to Rich little brother? I think that would have been the best thing to do if he wanted to repay the Porter family instead of giving them money. But that's just my opinion. But anyway, Randy Love got arrested in the 90s. He's still doing time. I think he was sentenced to at least 40 to life. But hopefully he'll give us an interview sometime down the line. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss out. Shout out to all of my subscribers. Y'all motivate me to keep going. Have a good one. I'm out.